get it right behind that white cabinet so that you can see this amazing red velvet cake. All right, how many times am I gonna make red velvet cake on my website? I think this is like the 4th or 5th time. As they say, everything old is new again. Ain't that the truth? This is a redo of my red velvet cake from almost 10 years ago. And the biggest difference is that I actually needed reading glasses to be able to decorate this cake. That's how old I've gotten. But this design never gets old, and I'm going to show you how to do it. This is quite possibly the most asked for redo recipe from my past life, is how to decorate the famous red velvet cake. And so the recipe itself is not anything different. It needs no tweaking. So I do have several options for you to choose from on my website. I have a no-dye red velvet cake recipe for you, as well as the traditional recipe that does require a little bit of food coloring to get the vibrant red. But the purpose of this video today is to actually show you how to get this stunning decoration that I came up with, wow, almost 10 years ago. So let's get started right away, and I'm going to show you how to quickly build this cake and then decorate it just like the pros. So I decided to put my Duncan Hines box cake hack to the test with their red velvet variety, and holy bug juice, is this red. Wow. As I mentioned, I do have an authentic scratch recipe for red velvet, as well as a no dye recipe, and I'll link to everything below this video, or just do a search on my website at gretchensveganbakery.com. But if you do want to go super easy, just grab a Duncan Hines cake box, which they have verified as being vegan for vanilla and chocolate, but I really doubt this red velvet variety is, because super red dye. This is crazy. At any rate, my box cake hack method really does make it bake up beautifully, and you would never know there's no eggs in this recipe. All right, so first I'm trimming up the tops slightly to make them flat and even, but don't throw out those trimmings. That is what makes the decoration for the top of the finished cake. Shelf-stable cream cheese icing for the filling and icing, because I don't really like cold red velvet cake, and this way I can let it stay out at room temperature for a couple of days. I'd always thought that cream cheese icing was the traditional icing for a red velvet cake, but there seems to be wild debate that ermine buttercream is actually what should be used for an authentic red velvet cake. What do you say about that? Comment below and let me know which icing you use on your red velvet cakes. In my bakery, we used cream cheese icing always, and this cake sold out every time. A little pro trick for how to get smooth sides: just grab a blowtorch and get your spatula nice and warmed up, and in one pass, instant smooth sides. Now to start this decoration, I am just scoring the top of the cake into 8 equal wedges, and that's going to section off for the decoration. And then with a cookie cutter that is equal in diameter to the width of your cuts, you're going to mark the sides of the cake. Using a number 2 Atico tip for the corneli lace pattern, you're basically just piping it in squiggles all within the marked out area. Corneli lace is sort of supposed to be one continuous drawing where you can't see where it starts or where it ends. This design is not difficult, it's just really difficult for me to film the cake decorating part, since I do all of this alone. So to get the angles without massive shadows and to get the close-up shots without my arm in the way is sort of difficult. Not to mention I have to contort my body in a way to stay out of the camera. So then I'm just not in front of my cake, but rather off to the side, and then things like this happen. So bear with me as I get a better view of what I'm actually decorating. I just need this to be in front of me, but I think you get the idea. Now I'm switching it up to a number 10 Atiko tip for the beaded borders. I just love the look of this cake so much. It's really elegant, and then once the crumbs go on top, it all just pops. Speaking of red crumbs, if you have a cooling rack with the holes like this one, rather than the straight slats, you can make perfect fluffy cake crumbs. Just carefully spoon those crumbs onto the marked out area and then just spread them out. This is honestly the hardest part of the entire project, trying to keep the crumbs where they're supposed to be and not falling all over the place. It's like making sure that you're coloring inside the lines. And then last, with the same number 10 tip, a bottom border, and you're done. Now I did go back after I shut down the cameras and I added more lace to the sides because I actually forgot to do that part on camera. But here is my finished cake, a retro throwback from about 10 years ago. But this cake never goes out of style, and whatever recipe you decide to go for, the no dye or the traditional recipe with the cream cheese icing or the ermine icing, everything is listed out for you on one neat page on my website at gretchensveganbakery.com. So head over there and grab the printable version. But before you go, I do want to give a great big shout out to my patrons on Patreon and my pals in PayPal for their generous support to help keep this channel going. As you probably know, I rely on ad revenue to support this channel, and well, let me just put it this way, I need crutches. So if you like these recipes and videos and you think you can help for as little as a cup of coffee a month, click the links below to find out how. All right, thanks to everyone here for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. And until next time, happy vegan baking. Bye for now.